Hey guys, my name is Moon and welcome to Umineko When They Cry, episode number 7. So we're finally here. Second to the last answer arc, second to the last episode for this game in general. So I'm very excited for this one because yes, Butler has won in episode 6 and Federine said to Burn Castle, create a tale you want for episode 7, right, for the next tale, but you have to answer my questions. No more secrets, no more this and that. So a lot is gonna be revealed most likely in this one, and I can't wait to find out what's in store for us. So yes, I just want to say before we start, thank you very much to everyone who has checked out, who has been watching this Let's Play from the beginning or from whatever, or if you're just checking this out right now, thank you very much as well. I really do appreciate it. So let's do this. Let's read, I guess, a synopsis for this one. Good morning. Today is the day of the funeral for the Golden Witch and her game. The days of the game have now ended, and fond memories are all that remain. Here, cold hard truth will be revealed, and the game will meet its death. There is a bit of difficulty. Okay, so let's do this. Episode 7. Let's begin. A little bit of difficulty? Why? Why is there a little bit of difficulty? Okay, we're gonna find out. No, I can't think of anything. Why is it there gonna be a difficulty if they're pretty much gonna reveal to you what's happening already, right? Maybe how it's interpreted? We'll see. Let me just fix the audio a little bit. I need to make it like this to make it louder. Okay, there we go.
灰は灰に、塵は塵に、幻は幻に、そして夢は夢に。夢とは寄せては返す波間のまさごに描くもの。それは波が寄せるたびに真っ白に戻ってしまう儚きもの。だから心なき人はそれを描くことを無駄なことだと嘲笑うだろう。しかしもう、彼女の描いた夢を消す波は二度と訪れない。彼女が最後に描いた美しき夢はもう永遠に消えることはない。さあさあ、思い浮かべてごらんなさい。それは暖かき春の日の柔らかき午後の日差しが、そのまま陰ることを忘れたかのよう。それはとても素敵なことなのだから。あなたの最後の夢の立ち会い人、プブリウス・ワルギリア・マロ。
Publius Virgilia Maru. That's her full name? Okay. Publius? What is a Publius? What is this? This is a different room. The suspects were gathered in a room and several inquisitors of heresy were reporting on the results of their investigation. Their uniforms closely resembled those of Ein Cern, Jungfrau, but they were slightly different. Also different were the badges signifying their department. Then came the sound of someone clapping their hands once. It was the lead female inquisitor. She was announcing that all reasoning had been completed.
近景、以上にて明々白々。以上の推理から、あなたのアリバイが存在しないことの証明を終えるものなりや。
At the other end of her pointing finger was a quivering maid with frightened eyes. Her name was... No, that's not important. Why? What matters now is that she could have entered a closed room study where the victim was found whenever she pleased. And furthermore, that her claimed alibi for the time of the crime has been proven to contradict the facts. Shaking, the maid tried to continue in her illogical pleading, but all of her statements had already been seen through.
以上にてフーダニット、ハウダニットの証明を完了するものなりや。
Who done it? How done it?
あなたが犯人である事実は揺るがぬものと知りたまえ。
Oh no, that your position as the culprit is now an unshakable fact. Oh, okay, so this is the actual culprit. Okay.
そんなどうして私が敬愛する旦那様を殺さねばならないのですか？
Okay, no, I'm listening to the voice of the character speaking.
動機がありません。理由がありません。
I don't think we've heard this voice yet.
誰がいかにして犯したか、それのみが立証できれば十分であると知りたまえ。謹敬謹んで申し上げる。ミステリーに動機は不要であると知りたまえ。
The Inquisitor spoke coldly. After finishing her witch's prayer, Virgilia stepped back from the coffin, which lay on an altar bedecked with many beautiful roses. In her place, Butler moved to the front of the coffin wearing his territory lord's cape. Though the cape was supposed to represent dignity and majesty, it somehow made look Butler smaller. Butler held a book with a majestic binding in his hands. It was a game record that just had been written. Or perhaps it was a tale, a game, or else a fragment. Written in it was a dream that would be more enjoyable for her than any other. Butler pressed against it in his forehead and contemplated for some time. And laid it gently in the coffin. Wait, what? Okay. He kissed it. No, I didn't see because I accidentally clicked the next button. Okay, it rested upon her chest. She looked like a little girl clutching her favorite stuffed animal as she drifted off to sleep.
これは俺からお前に捧げる唯一の物語だ。
This tale will shut up with you in your coffin for all eternity. So no one will be able to read it except for you there in your coffin.
猫箱に閉ざされた唯一不変不可侵の永遠の物語。
だから誰にも物語を汚せない。否定できない。反論できない。俺とこいつだけの、二人だけの、唯一絶対の真実。クソったれが。
Damn, what is this place, man? A man dashed through a town wrapped in twilight. Honestly, this feels like Attack on Titan. Remember Attack on Titan if you watched that, right? In like the earlier seasons, it was on the island, and then when you reach the was it the 4th season? It suddenly changed, right? And then you're seeing like big cities, all that stuff. Yeah, it kind of feels like that. I mean, at least the opening right now, because yeah, it's a lot of different places, is what I'm saying. The daytime hustle and bustle of this beautiful village, which combined the traditional with the orderly in the classic style of the last century, now seemed like a mere dream. The orange setting was already hidden behind the clock tower, and the narrow alleyway was rapidly descending into darkness. As the gas lights began to turn on, they only made the darkness of the twilight stand out all the more. The man sprinted. There was no time. He had to hurry. He had had several experiments to do and things he had to check And it had all taken longer than he'd expected.
ああ、確かにそうだろうな。ミステリーはフーダニットとハウダニットさえあれば十分だ。
In the mystery genre, the motive or the why done it is given the lowest priority. To have a murder, you need to have a culprit and he needs to commit a crime. Motive isn't required for that. So it's usually the most ignored element. I mean, I guess you could say that maybe a culprit or a bad guy could just wants to commit a crime, right? No motive needed or nothing like that. You can just, I just want to do this. I want to do that. So I guess you can put it at the bottom. But I mean it's still important though. Yeah. In fact, these days there are even some who call it
ホワ
unnecessary.
イダニットだけで犯人が決まっちまったら、そりゃミステリーじゃねえ。プロパガンダだ。
Propaganda.
だがな。だからって動機ってやつを、心ってやつをないがしろにしちゃいけねえんだ。
私たちは彼女の最後の眠りがどれほど楽しいものであるかを知っています。だから何人たりとも彼女の眠りを妨げることはできないでしょう。楽しい夢に微笑むこの眠りを妨げられるものなどいるわけもないのですから。さあ、私たちはもう立ち去りましょう。私たちが賑やかにしていたら、彼女の夢を、眠りを覚ましてしまいますよ。
そうだな。寝ている子には毛布をかけて、部屋を暗くして、静かに立ち去るのが決まりってもんだ。
After looking at the coffin one last time, Virgilia turned around quietly. Butler did the same, but then he stopped and turned to face a rose-covered altar. Butler offered up his final words within his heart. As long as those words didn't leave his mouth, no one would be able to know what they were. However, those words of heart caused Butler's expression to change several times. At first, he frowned sadly, then his face clouded with remorse and changed to a bitter, exasperated smile. It flashed through several varied expressions. Then the final expression that across his face was surprisingly a gentle smile. Something rose to Butler's lips. However, he bit it back down. There could certainly be no words to describe the many feelings he kept in his chest. So saying anything aloud would probably be crude. But our Butler understood this and stopped himself from speaking once more with a weary smile.
ありがとう。
お礼を言われるようなことは何も。
あとを頼む。
After seeing Virgilia nod back at him, Butler turned away from the altar one more time and left the chapel. Virgilia also disappeared, and with that, all the disturbances that might have interrupted her blissful sleep had vanished. The inquisitors of heresy, with calm, no scornful gazes, they listened to the frantic babbling of the maid accused of murdering her master. However, nothing she said could bury the fault in her own alibi. They were all emotional arguments. I loved and respected the master so much, I had no motive for killing him. No matter how much he spoke, or she spoke, I mean, it only made her look more and more like the floundering true culprit struggling pathetically. The requirements for the whodunit and howdunit had been satisfied. As for the whydunit, the motive, the heart, no matter how much she spoke of gratitude for her master, who had graciously given her a job when she'd been left by the wayside after various misfortunes, it didn't help her case in the slightest in the mystery genre. Therefore, her motive didn't matter. All of that could just be squeezed out of the culprit afterwards. An Inquisitor of Heresy took out a roll of parchment and it held forth, cutting off the maid's sobs and protest.
あなたがいかにして犯行に及んだか。その告発は大法院にて受理され、あなたの逮捕を許可したことを知りたまえ。これがあなたの逮捕状なりや。動機など不要。犯人の特定には一切不要のものと知りたまえ。
The thing is, you need motive though, yeah. Are they saying this because they don't want to tell us why the culprit of this game is doing that? Come on, don't be like that.
その上で謹んで申し上げる。我らが SSVD は罪を認めぬ犯罪者に真実を告白させる強制的手段を持つと知りたまえ。我らが異端審問官が正義にて祝福された審問具にてあなたの獅子を絞り上げて焼いて潰して引き伸ばして吊るし上げ、そこより赤き真実を絞り出してみせることを申し上げたてまつる。自白すらも不要。補佐官一同、そのメイドを逮捕したてまつれ。
私じゃないです。私は旦那様を殺したりなんかしません。
やめな。
Who is this new character already?
そのメイドは犯人じゃね
A man kicked the door open and the Inquisitors were all shocked at the sight of him.
なぜあなたがここにいるものなり。
So, did we have a new male character? I mean, I guess you can say Zepar, right? Yeah, only one. I mean, Zepar is male though, yeah, right? The blue one? Yeah, the one with the blue hair. But for most of the part, the characters that we're getting new is mostly female.
この事件はもうあなたの担当ではないと知りたまえ。
うるせえ。アリバイがないやつを一人見つけたらそいつが犯人なのか。犯行には動機が、心がいらねえってのか。犯行はな、人が犯すんだよ。心がねえ事件なんて存在しねえ。心を無視した推理なんざ俺は絶対に認めね
え。あなたのホワイダニット至上主義の主張には辟易するものと知りたまえ。ホワイダニットなど無用。審問すればかようなものを容易に絞り出せるものなりや。大法院もその女が犯人であることを認めたものなり。
大法院はそのメイド以外の全員にアリバイがあるならきっとそうなんだろうというお前の独りよがりを鵜呑みにしただけだ。他の被疑者のアリバイが崩れれば白紙に戻る。他の連中のアリバイも無様なもんじゃないか。大広間の時計の音は正確に正午を刻んだか。勝手口の犬は全員に吠えるのか。確かにお前はメイドのアリバイの偽証を崩した。それは見事なもんさ。だがそれで終わりなのか。メイドに犯行が可能でも それを行う動機はあるのか。他の人間のアリバイは完璧なのか。他にもアリバイを偽証している人間がいる。それを探すことを怠るな。犠牲者に怨恨は、金銭関係でトラブルは、動機を捨てるな。心を捨てるな。動機なんて後付けでどうでもいいなんて、そんな乾ききったミステリーごっこは卒業しちまいな。
メイドが犯人でないなら、なぜに彼女はアリバイを偽証するものなりや。そしてそれを問うことも茶番。審問し赤き真実を絞り出し、犯行時刻の全てを赤き地で署名させるだけで良いものと知りたまえ。
ああ、そうだろうな。お得意の拷問で全てを神の目線から客観的に赤裸々に絞り出せばいいさ。でもな、言っておく。心のねえミステリーと推理のやり方はな、俺が絶対に認めねえ。
すでに本事件は本館に継承されたるものなり、ここに命令書もあるものなり。さあ補佐官一同、構うことはなしと知りたまえ。そのメイドの逮捕を命じるものなりや。
When she gave this order, her subordinates hesitated, looking back and forth between their superior and that man.
させねえよ。本当の犯人は他にいる。
Honestly, who is this guy, man?
動機から推理可能だ。
He looks like if, let's say, Butler had a rival. Yeah, he would be like that, I guess. I mean, the way he looks, I mean.
アリバイトリックなんざ古典通り。心を忘れるんじゃねえ。
心など不要なり。犯行可能な疑わしき人物を導き出し、審問して赤き真実を絞り出せばいい。万一犯人でなかったなら、別の疑わしい容疑者を審問にかければいいだけなりや。
そんなのは推理じゃねえ。
退きたまえ。その女を逮捕するものなりや。そのメイドが犯人であると知りたまえ。
使用人が犯人であることを禁ず。
It is forbidden for a servant to be the culprit. Okay. He said it in red. The words of power blasted away the aides at trying to arrest the maid.
バンダイン20足第11足。このメイドを拷問したかったら、第二夫人とその愛人のアリバイをもう一度洗いな。
Oh, so he got his set of rules. Van Dyne's 20 rules. Rule number 11. If you want to torture this maid, then make sure you double check the alibis for the second wife and her lover first. Honestly, I'm kind of annoyed with this one. No, it's not. It's like, I wish that we had the list is what I'm saying. Right? We had the Nox's rules as well. How do I know the rules? It is not here. It's not in the tips. It's not in anything, right? So yeah, you gotta remember them. Or you gotta look it up. You check what those rules are if you forgot about them.
その二人には犯行時刻の明白なアリバイが。
あの程度でアリバイかよ。ボンクラのお前に分かるように説明してたら、時間がいくらあっても足りねえや。めんどくせえ。首席を名乗りたかったら、その程度の捜査と推理を見せてみな。それまでこのメイドへの逮捕状は俺が預かるぜ。
ならあなたに。そのメイドが犯行を犯さなかったことが証明できるなりや。犯行時刻に彼女が台所を離れていたことは明らかと知りたまえ。彼女は犯行時刻にどこで何を。その女にも本官にもあなたにも誰にも証明は不可能なりや。なればこそ審問の拷問具で赤き真実を絞り出すほかなきなり。
真犯人からは血ヘドでも真実でも好きなだけ絞り出してやれ。だがな、真犯人じゃねえ人間へはいかなる審問も拷問も許さね
え。だからこそあなたは甘いと批判されるものなり。疑わしきは全て審問。それが我ら異端審問官の魔女裁判であると知りたまえ。
そうだな、俺たちは異端審問官だ。邪悪な魔女を撃つ、それが商売さ。だが万一にも市民を傷つけてはならない。疑ってはならない。人間は誰しも自分だけの真実を持つ。それは罪を犯した時にのみ暴かれる。俺たちにはそれを暴く資格が与えられている。だがな、ねえんだよ。
何が？
罪なき人間の罪なき真実を暴く資格なんざ、たとえ神様にだって与えられちゃいねえんだよ。
The maid finally realized that it was trying to protect her.
どちら様か存じませんが、ありがとうございます。私、本当に犯人じゃないんです。
んなことは知ってら。お前の彼氏は全てを投げ出してお前のためにアリバイを証言するとよ。感謝しとけ。あの若造は名誉も肩書きもお前に比べたら大したもんじゃねえと言いやがったぜ。
そんなことをしたらあの人は。
それには及ばねえ。恋人たちの秘め事を暴くのは三流雑誌の仕事だ。ミステリーじゃねえ。俺は心のない推理は絶対に許さねえ。
Then, for the first time, the man's sullen expression relaxed, and he patted the maid's head roughly.
きっと彼氏と幸せになりやがれ。だが勤務中に相引きするのはあまり褒められねえな。時々にしとくんだな。
ありがとうございます。ありがとうございます。
These words were heard only by the two of them. The man had learned of her innocence, which could only be proven by exposing the secrets of a pair of young lovers, and he had rushed about in search of a solution, resentful of the arrogance of those trying to expose this by forcible means.
推理はな、犯人を作ることでもその過程で罪なき人々の心の真実を踏みにじることでもねえ。心が大事なんだ。探偵気取るなら心を忘れるんじゃねえ。そいつを忘れたら俺たちはただの知的蹂躙者だ。それを忘れるな。
When the man spoke, the inquisitors no longer had any way to argue back. The name or the man's name is Will, and yet that's not what everyone used to call him. Head Inquisitor of Heresy of the SSVD, the 8th District Repentance Enforcement Agency of the Great Court of Heaven. Wizard hunting right.
これがお前らへの最後の引き継ぎだ。魔術師狩りのライトの名を継ぐなら忘れるな。絶対だ。
Is the music a little bit different? It was different, right? Yeah, I think so. We'll see. But yeah, let's continue. Alright, let me do this again. Quietly, the rain fell down. The rain of sadness dripped down the outer walls of the chapel, quietly washing away the dust of the world of the living. The chapel doors were open. During a wedding, only those with invitations are allowed inside. However, during a funeral, the doors are open to all who remember the deceased. So this must be a funeral. A shadow holding an umbrella approached the chapel. It was Will. Okay, so Will is here. Wow, look at this. Nice. A reception desk had been set up at the chapel's entrance. Canon, as the shadow approached, a canon who had been sitting at the desk stood up and welcomed him with a bow.
こちらが受付でございます。弔問の皆様にはご褒美を賜っております。ご記帳をお願いいたします。
悪いな。弔問じゃねえ。待ち合わせだ。
You came to a funeral to meet someone. A dubious expression rose to Canon's face. Will pulled an envelope from his pocket and showed him the sender's name.
失礼いたしました。どうぞお入りを。
すまねえな。せめてそいつをもらえるか。
ありがとうございます。きっとお喜びになられると思います。
Canon handed him one set of the golden roses, which were being handed out to all the mourners. Will took it, silently bowed his head, and entered the chapel. Inside the chapel, several people who appeared to be the family of the deceased were gathered. And they all seemed to be recalling memories of the departed.
Beatrice! なぜに
お父様、どうかしっかり。控室の方で少し休みましょう。
私が殺したのよ。
As Rosa again.
私が。
Okay.
とんでもない。どうしてローザ様が殺したことになりましょ
う。お父さん、すごい泣きよね。
ベアトリーチェか
This is so weird, man. I'm not gonna lie.
絶対お母様が亡くなった時より泣いてるわ。
No, because for most of the other games is pretty much the characters don't know who Beatrice is, and now we're in her funeral.
こら、今はそんなこと言うときちゃうで。
Some sobbed, unable to conceal their tears, and some spoke softly of old memories. They were all remembering the dead in their own way, it seemed. When Will approached the altar, several people turned around. Of course, none of them knew who Will was. Paying this no mind, Will walked in front of the casket on the altar, which seemed to be buried under the golden roses. Inside the casket, there was no corpse. Instead, as though it lay there in the place of a body, was a single thick book with an extravagant binding. The space all around it was filled with countless golden roses. There were words printed on the book's cover. To my beloved Beatrice, October 5th, 1986.
ミス・ベアトリーチェ。ミセスだったら許しな。
Mrs.
会ったことはねえ。だが、お悔やみ申し上げるぜ。
He took the rose he had received from the reception area and placed it in the casket. He had absolutely no connection to the woman called Beatrice. However, since he had come to visit a funeral, he had to show this minimum amount of respect for the dead. As a part of this, Will prayed for the passage of the dead into the next world.
失礼だが、どちら様かな？私は、後宮クラウス。喪主の代行です。こっちは子供のリオン。
What? Leon? What?
はじめまして。
Wait, who's this? Leon? First child of Kraus and Natsuhi, Jessica is their second child. Was given the silver ring of the head successor and will succeed the position of family upon turning 20, mild, polite, and without any clear faults. Except for being too young, this youth is more suitable to becoming the next head than any other and is adored by Kinzo. Upon turning 20, the man from 19 years ago is being presented here now as Ushinomiya Lion or Leon. Oh my god.
後宮リオンです。
リオン？誰だお前？
Yeah, who the heck are you? But oh my god.
理科の理に魚するの魚でリオンと読みます。
Leon. Wait, doesn't Japanese doesn't have an L, right? Like whenever they pronounce L, it's R. I say Rion, Rion.
ちょっと日本人っぽくない名前ですよね。
Willer or Will stared at Leon's face wearing a confused expression. He hadn't seemed particularly interested in Kraus, but Leon had apparently drawn some sort of reaction from him. Rather than interest, it was more as though he felt like something was out of place.
旦那様、奥様がそろそろと。うん、そうか。一同の諸君、ここで賑やかにしては個人もうるさがるだろう。控室の準備が整ったそうだ。場所を変えようではないか。
When Kraus called out to everyone, they began to move towards the chapel waiting room. But yeah, it's quite funny though, man. We're getting another personality. But this is something new though. Yeah, Leon Ushinomiya. I mean, you could say that this is the culprit? Or this should have been the culprit? I guess if the things that happened to the culprit didn't happen, I guess, right? Yeah, if the culprit didn't fall from the cliff back then because of Natsumi, this should have been him or her, right? Okay, that is nice though. Oh my god, I didn't expect this. Like I thought we were just gonna get like stories and stuff, but we're getting something like this. Okay.
リオンはしばしお客様のお相手を頼む。私はみんなを控室に案内する。
But yeah, we'll see how this is gonna be presented though. Yeah, I'm very curious.
はい、父さん。
Like how the story is gonna flow with this, yes. It looked like a natural conversation with no awkwardness for either father or child.
親子なのか？
Can Leon and Natsuhi interact with each other?
そうですが、何か。
後宮クラウスの子供はジェシカのはずだ。
ジェシカは妹です。
お呼びする必要はありますか？
いや、ない。
Apparently, some sort of game was already being played right off the bat. Scratching at his head with an irritated look on his face, Will glanced around.
失礼ですが、あなた様は個人とはどのようなご関係で？
全く何もねえ。迷惑な話さ。
ではあなたはどうしてこの葬儀に？
Since Leon was a fairly mild person, Will's behavior was met with nothing more than a blank expression. A normal person would probably have put on a dubious look before this. Will scratched his head again and yelled angrily at someone other than Leon.
来たぜ。そろそろ顔を出しやがれ。
The members of the Ushirimiya family had already followed Cross's instructions and moved to the waiting room. Who is he talking to? By now, no one could be seen in this cold, vast chapel decorated with gold roses except for Will and Leon. So you come.
よく来たわね。
Okay, it's a burnt castle.
異端審問官、魔術師狩りのライト。
The girl's voice came suddenly from behind the pair. When Leon turned around in surprise, a girl had appeared out of nowhere and drifted down on top of the altar. She landed softly on the second sacred funeral altar as though this was perfectly normal, crushing the golden roses under her shoes. Of course, Leon didn't know this girl. Just why on earth were all of these people unrelated to the funeral, popping up one after another?
俺はもう引退だ。仕事なら新しいライトに頼みな。
いいえ。あなたに頼みたいのよ。この事件を。送った物語は読んでくれたかしら？
斜め読み程度にはな。
あなたがどなたか存じませんが、そこから降りてください。そこは神聖な祭壇ですよ。
Snapping out of a daze, Leon told the girl to get down off the altar, but she ignored this completely. On top of that, Will kept on talking to the girl as though Leon wasn't even there.
リオンとか言ったな。こいつは何者だ？
その子が名乗った通りよ。
Ushirimiya Leon. There is no case of a person with that name appearing in any of the previous games.
お前の駒なのか？
By the way, did they give a name back then on episode 5 to the baby? I don't remember if they mentioned any name, right? Yeah, they didn't mention any name back then. So maybe, yeah, Leon was supposed to be, I guess, the name of the baby. Yeah, I guess so.
いいえ。このゲーム版の正しく正当な駒。登場人物よ。
ゲームマスターはお前だ。なら、お前の駒だろ。
ベアとの猫箱よりもっと大きな猫箱で閉ざしただけよ。リオンはその中で生まれ得る可能性を持つ一つの駒。
そういうことか。結局お前の駒というわけだ。
私が置いた駒という意味では正しいわ。
ただし エリカのような配下の駒ではないということか。
エリカって誰？
Erica, who's that? She has been banished to the Shadow Realm.
エリカさん？
理解しようとするな。頭痛になら。
But you can see, look at this. In other words, it's your piece. It's a piece I placed, would be the correct way to say it. So meaning, yes, this piece was already there. It's not like Erica. Yeah. It was already there. She just simply placed it in the game board. And that was it. Leon didn't have a clue what they were talking about. However, though neither person was a familiar, it seemed clear that they both knew a lot about the Oshinomiya family.
私にはあなたたちが何の話をしているのかわかりません。とにかくそこのお嬢さん、その祭壇から降りてください。後宮家次期当主としてお願い申し上げます。
No, honestly, Leon feels like a girl though, right? Yeah, the way I'm saying she, the way he talks, yeah, it's like a girl that is dressing up to be a guy. Even Leon was finally forced to speak in a raised voice to that girl who continued to chat while casually standing on the altar. However, the girl ignored this completely. On the other hand, Will did show a reaction.
次期当主はクラウスのはずだ。
父クラウスは私が20歳になるまでの間の当主代行です。20歳になると同時に次期当主である私が当主を継承することになっています。
初耳だ。証拠はあるのか？
It seemed that even Leon was starting to get ticked off by now. That calm expression appeared to twitch slightly.
これは次期当主に許されている片翼のわしの銀の指輪です。これで証拠になりますか？
銀の指輪？金の？当主の指輪は何度も登場したが、次期当主の銀の指輪など初耳だ。クラウスもジェシカもそんなものを指に通していた記憶がね
え。嬉しいわ。斜め読みにしてはちゃんと読んでくれてるじゃない。
魔女のよこす文章はどこにろくでもねえことが書いてあるか分かったもんじゃねえ。ましてやそれが元老院の大魔女とくりゃな。
あなた方は一体何者なんですか？失礼だが、私には何の話をしているのかさっぱりわかりません。個人への献花がお済みでしたら、どうぞお引き取りを。どうやらあなた方は当家がおもてなしすべき方々ではないようです。
Leon finally ran out of patience. These were the strictest words that this gentle kid could unleash. However, Will and the girl seemed not to care at all.
俺も来たくて来たわけじゃね
え。時間の無駄だから話を進めるわ。ライト、このゲームに挑みなさい。ゲームマスターベルンカステルの名においてこのゲームにあなたを招待してあげるわ。
お断りだ。
どうして？
俺はもう引退する身だ。推理もミステリーも知ったことか。
何をして余生を過ごすというの？魔術師狩りのライトが魔女狩りをやめて。
狐狩りでも潮干狩りでもするさ。俺がここに来たのはあんたと余生を語るためじゃねえ。
断るために来たと。
ご検察いただき光栄の極みと知りたまいなりや。
なら好きにしたらいいわ。どこへでも行けばいい。ただしここから立ち去れればの話だけれど。
それで条件と報酬は？
In truth, Will had resigned himself from the beginning. He knew that he was incapable of refusing an invitation from the great Lady Berncastle.
ベアトリーチェを殺したのは誰か。それが私のゲームよ。報酬は私に対するその無礼な口の利き方を許すことと、この礼拝堂を立ち去る権利。
退屈を愛さない魔女は存在な言葉を愛すると聞いたぜ。
それは1000年を生き飽きたババア魔女の話よ。私はまだまだ若いから、あんたみたいな言葉遣いの男をどんな過酷な運命に閉じ込めてやろうかと無双することを愛するの。
それで敵は誰だ？
いないわ。妨害などするわけもない。このゲームをあなたが美しく詰めるところをただ私たちは感激したいだけ。仲間も用意する。それがそのリオンよ。
After hearing the name spoken out of the blue, Leon frowned once more. Apparently, they were moving things along without Leon's knowledge or understanding, which the latter seemed to find truly irritating.
リオンは後ろ宮家の人間。
So are they gonna be the main characters of this game, like fully? Like Leon and Will? Like we're not gonna see maybe Butler, Beatrice, probably not, maybe, I don't know, we'll see. But I think that these two are gonna be the main characters this time around.
後ろ宮家の誰とも面識のないあなたには心強い味方となってくれるでしょう。
何の話か分かりかねますが、事情のわからない話には何もご協力はできかねますよ。
だそうだ。頼もしい限りだな。
私と我が主を楽しませなさい。魔術師狩りのライト。アウアウは行儀のいい感激者だけれど、私は退屈するとポップコーンを投げつけたりしちゃうかもね。
Will scratched at his head with a displeased look on his face. He wasn't at all interested in getting involved. But by now, he realized that he couldn't disobey Berncastle's orders. Then he approached the casket and pointed at its rose-filled insides.
ベアトリーチェ殺人事件の依頼とのことだが、バンダイン20足第7足
Item number 7.
死体なき事件であることを禁ず。
It is forbidden to have a crime without a corpse. Okay.
悪魔の証明ね。棺にないだけじゃない？死体が存在しないことをあなたが証明できない限り、これはミステリーよ。
第一足、手がかりすべての揃わぬ事件を禁ず。
Number 1. It is forbidden to have a crime without all clues presented.
安心なさい。すべてはここに揃っている。
So everything will be presented in this episode, hopefully. Okay. Please, don't be vague. Just tell it outright. Outright. Okay. Though there was no change to Will's unsatisfied expression, he seemed to have understood the general pattern of this place. The simple fact that a mere inquisitor of heresy had been summoned by an uninhibited, fickle, cruel great witch of the Senate meant that he'd be treated as no more than a mere underling. All along, he had possessed no way to refuse her.
この空っぽの棺の主を殺したのは誰か。引き受けてやら。ただし、俺の流儀でやらせてもらう。
ご自由に。
まず最初にすることは、お前に現状を理解させることだな。
それをお願いできると、私もとても助かります。
Leon's expression seemed nonplussed, angry and confused, all at the same time.
キナ、実際に見た方が早い。
いいでしょう。お供しましょうとも。
Will signaled with his chin for Leon to follow him and spun around. After snorting once in an unsatisfied manner, Leon followed him as though resigned to see Will's little show. As she watched them leave the chapel, Berncastle sneered silently at them, a cold smile on her face.
尊厳なる感激と戯曲と傍観の魔女。
Something au Aurora, Augustus Aurora.
フェザリーヌなんとかアウアウローラの巫女にして奇跡の魔女。ベルンカステルの名において、このゲームの開始を宣言するわ。物語のタイトルは、黄金の魔女のレクイエム。
Requiem of the Golden Witch.
ベアとの葬儀にふさわしい物語を紡ぎなさい。さて、どんな腹渡を引きずり出してくれるやら。
She watched until the pair had left the chapel. Berncastle's form evaporated into the empty air just as she had arrived. All that remained was her unpleasant cackling. Outside, it was still raining. When Kanon saw the guest and his successor approaching the reception desk, he bowed deeply.
ご苦労様です。休んで結構ですので、外してもらえますか？
カノンです。かしこまりました。
Kanon bowed deeply, then disappeared.
下々の名前まではいちいち覚えていないってか。
当家には若い使用人が大勢出入りしており、入れ替わりも頻繁ですので。
Look at that lion, a lion statue behind Lion.
さて、何をどう理解させてくれるのですか？あなた様は何者で、当家にどのようなご用がおありで？もちろん、納得させてくれなくて構いません。このままお帰りいただければいいだけですので。
もう帰れねえのさ。俺も誰もな。
もういい加減にしてくれませんか？そのよくわからない煙に巻くような喋り方は。私にだって我慢の限界というものがあります。私では見送りにならないというなら、源氏と合田にお送りさせてもいいのですよ。
騒ぐな。こいつを見てろ。
見ればわかります。葬儀用のバラです。まさか手品でも見せてくれるおつもりで
Will took one of the flower offerings, then showed it to Leon as though pointing out that there were no mechanisms or tricks. Then he slowly lifted it upwards.
見てろ。
ええ、見てますよ。鳩でも飛び出すんですか？それともクラッカーと万国旗にでも
Will threw the rose. Anyone would have expected it to fly in an arc and land in some puddle. It didn't, which was why Leon had been struck dumb. The rose thrown by Will certainly had flown in an arc. It should have sped on rapidly through the air. However, as soon as it passed out from the shade of the eaves and was about to reach the rain, it stopped right in mid-air, as though the air surrounding it had turned into syrup. That wasn't all. As it hung in midair, the rose's beautiful golden petals began to darken one after another, and it became a black husk like burnt charcoal. And even after this happened, it remained suspended there in the air.
これは何の手品ですか？
動くな。
Leon had moved closer to try and touch the remains of the rose, which still hung in the air. Will had roughly blocked the way with his arm. It was as though he was telling Leon that leaving this place meant certain death.
この礼拝堂がかけらから切り離されたんだ。この礼拝堂は今濃縮された時間の渦に閉じ込められている。
それはどういうことですか？
めんどくせえからはしょる。つまりさっきの魔女のゲームに付き合わねえ限り誰もここから出られねえ。
なんですって？もう葬儀は終わっています。お屋敷やゲストハウスに戻りたい方々もいらっしゃるでしょう。こんなことは困ります。
恨むならあの魔女を恨め。俺も帰れなくていい迷惑だ。
あの少女はあなたの友人でしょ。この変なのをやめさせてください。
あいつは今頃ポップコーンのバケツでも抱いて観客席だろうよ。呼んだって現れね
え。わけがわからない。
The short sentence described all of Leon's feelings at the moment. However, Leon had seen the rose will true wither in an instant in the rainy darkness. Leon tried the same thing with another rose, but the effect was exactly the same. No one would want to use their own body to test this fearsome something that could make roses crumble instantly.
ここから解放される方法はただ一つ。ベルンカステルのゲームに付き合うことだけだ。
ベアトリーチェを殺したのは誰かでしたか？
そいつを調べろと仰せだ。お前がそれを聞かせてくれりゃ話は早い。気まぐれ魔女は大満足。お前は厄介払いができて、俺は帰ってダイアナとデートだ。
Diana? Who's Diana?
あまり待たせすぎるとまたソファーをズタボロにしちまわ。
Diana?
ベアトリーチェを殺したのは誰かなんて。葬儀に押しかけて遺族に聞くこととは思えませんね。
遺族に聞き込みはミステリーの基本だ。諦めろ。ベアトリーチェってのは当主金蔵の愛人だってのは分かってる。
あなたは本当に不思議な人だ。どうしてそこまで当家のことをご存知なのですか？やはり当家に縁のある方なのでは。
Will knew this much about the Ushirimiya family because Burn Castle had shown him all the fragments so far. Of course, he had sort of a connection with the Ushirimiya family himself. The very plane of his existence was on a different level.
しかし、ベアトリーチェはだいぶ昔に死んでいる。
Beatrice died a long time ago.
現地の証言では、屋敷の竣工前に死んでるってことになってるが。
I saw you're talking about the OG, the original Beatrice.
死んだ理由は明らかじゃねえ。
Oh, tell me we're gonna talk about the OG this episode.
正直なところ、殺されたってのは初耳だ。
This is the first I've heard about her being killed, I guess.
聞かせてくれ。
But yeah, when we started this, I assumed that the Beatrice that they were talking about is our Beatrice, right? But if they're talking about Beatrice, the original one, okay. Okay, this is good.
私の名は後宮リオンと申します。
We don't really have any or a lot of knowledge about the original Beatrice, so this is gonna be good if they actually do that.
ウィラートだ。ウィルでいい。
Willard H. Wright. For the first time, Will introduced himself. Their mutual introduction was finally complete and Leon was finally able to talk with him on an even footing. However, Leon took a deep breath and looked up at the sky wearing a vague smile.
ウィルさん、
ウィルでいい。俺もリオンと呼ぶ。
ウィル、正直なところ、私にもベアトリーチェという人物のことがよくわからないのです。
なるほど。一応ゲームにはなるわけか。
If only Leon could have told everything, revealing the truth without any effort from Will. Apparently things wouldn't be so easy after all. I mean, obviously, they're not gonna present it so easily. We're still gonna have to go through the story. But man, I cannot wait to see what we're gonna get from this episode.
ベアトリーチェの名と姿を後ろ宮家に出入りするもので知らぬ。
大広間にでかい肖像画が飾ってあるからな。肖像画の掲示は1984年の4月だ。
本当にあなたはどうしてそんなことまで。やれやれ。それを疑問に思うのももうやめることにします。どうせあなたにまた煙に巻かれるんですからね。
Leon was a successor and lived in the head household, then made conversations with Kinzo on everyday occurrence. Because of this, Leon must have been used to chatting with people who were moody or hard to follow, with the understanding that getting stuck on the details would be nothing but a waste of time. The conversation naturally fell into a pattern as though Leon and this unknown man, Will, were longtime friends.
誰もがベアトリーチェを知っている。なのに誰も知らねえ。会ったことがあるのは当主金蔵だけだ。
Everyone knows Beatrice and yet no one knows her. That's pretty good, yeah.
当主様は今日は特にお心が不安定でいらっしゃいます。タイミングを見て私が紹介しますので、なるべく慎んだ態度でお願いしますよ、ビルさん。
話が早えな。てっきりもっと非協力的かと思ってたぜ。
長年当主様のお相手をしていると、大抵の理不尽な事態とはある種の諦めを持って接することができるようになりますので。
Burn Castle had set up a barrier cutting the chapel off from the rest of the world. To destroy that, they would have to find out who killed Beatrice. For Leon, who had already experienced many of Kinzo's rantings, understanding this was more than enough. Oh, it's chapter over. Okay. But seriously, this is giving me episode 4 vibes. Why? Because it's a different character again, or different characters, I guess this time. When we did episode 4, it was Angie, right? Her perspective. And in this one, we're getting new characters. At least the main characters. So we're getting Will and Leon. And yeah. I'm so excited for this. I've been waiting for this, I guess, ever since we begun episode 1. What I mean is, I've been waiting for them to reveal what is really happening, and I can feel that it might be this episode. Is episode 7 gonna be it? Or are we gonna get blue balled yet again, right? Or are they just gonna give us vague answers yet again? We're gonna find out, right? So we are gonna continue this and do more of Umineko When They Cry episode number 7 in the next one. So I'll just see you then, guys. Bye bye.